you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight for Fox 43's Comedy Hour. This is the second one we've done, so we're so happy to be back here. Thank you to the Jayhawk Theatre for giving us this great space. And thank you to all the comedians that came out here to share their funny with you. These are all comedians that have come to us from Northeast Kansas. Some of them have stayed here the whole time. Some of them have gone away and tried their wings in other places and have come home so that they can bloom where they were planted originally. It's okay. We can come and go. Topeka lets us leave. Topeka's a great town. Do you guys like it here? Yeah. I mean, last week, or not last week, it seems like last week, I'm old, everything was just the other day. They gave me a whole new street. They took my driveway and they gave me a new driveway, and they took part of my driveway, but they gave me like 11 street lights in front of my house. I've got more lights in my yard than the Dollar General does, so I don't know what they think is going on down there. But I live in a pretty safe neighborhood. The other day I had to call the cops for something. My neighbor, I found him passed out in the yard. I don't know if that's ever happened to any of you. And so I was really nervous, and I called the cops, and I gotta tell you, the police got there way faster than I thought. I mean, they got there so fast, I barely had time to go through his wallet. I mean, it was, I'm kidding you guys, I had plenty of time to get through his wallet, okay? It was fine. But Topeka's a great place. I've lived here my whole life, born and raised. I did recently take a class at the Walmart store. Did you guys know that Walmart, yeah, they teach classes at Walmart, okay? And in case some of you might know me, I am in the People of Walmart website. So if you ever want to look for me there, you can't tell by the way I'm dressed now because I had somebody else dress me, but usually I've got pretty good style. So, but no, they had a class. Groceries are getting really high, so I was kind of surprised. But it was a kind of a self-sustainability class, and they were teaching you how to like forage and get food on your own. And the one I took was a class on how to hunt your own turkey. I know, and it was kind of ingenious when I thought about it, because I mean, they sell all the stuff for it, right? So they sold me all the cool clothes that you could wear so that you can like blend in with the scenery when you're, going out there. And then, so yesterday, we all got to go out, and we got dressed up in our cute clothes, and they taught us how to be real quiet, and how to sneak up and snatch that turkey right out of the freezer section. So it was just a great class. So we're going to go ahead and get the show started. We're going to bring up our first comedian tonight. He's done some work with Topeka Civic Theater. He's been doing stand-up comedy for 8 years. So I would like for you right now to please put your hands together for Mr. Gregory Richardson.
Hello, everybody. As Vicky said, my name is Gregory Richardson, and I don't know if you can tell based on how I just said my name, but I do have a speech impediment. Some people like it, some people don't. I honestly think, though, it just makes me sound like a very feminine Elmer Fudd. So if you need me after the show, I'm going to be outside, hunting some wabbits. Just kidding, I can't. It's waning out. It's fine the way I talk for me, but some people just don't understand what I'm saying sometimes. Like, I went to a restaurant the other night, and the waitress came by and asked what I wanted to drink. And I said red wine, like the color red and then wine, but it came out wed wine, like I'm Scooby-Doo or something. Just like, hi, what can I get for you? Oh, can I get you some red wine, some raspberries, some rice noodles with some red peppers? Oh, that'll be radical. That was a bad impression, but it was a good joke. Actually, in high school, a lot of people, this actually happened a lot. If somebody caught my speech impediment before I told them I had one, I would do the same thing. I would just pretend that I'm just now realizing that I have one, and then just flip out in front of them. It was so funny. That happened with my acting teacher, my drama teacher. The first day I said my name, introduced myself, she goes, "Oh, Gregory, you have a speech impediment. That's interesting." She wanted acting. Oh, I gave her acting. I Daniel Day-Lewis that moment for sure, okay? Okay, she goes, "Oh, Gregory, you have a speech impediment. That's interesting." I then go, "What? I have a speech impediment? Oh, God. I can't. Why did anyone tell me this? My whole life, no one told me this. How can I be an actor if I sound like the feminine Elmer Fudd? And that's the same joke twice. That's the same joke twice. I can't do this. Okay, the amazing Jimmy Stewart, had a speech disability, and he was amazing. But he talked the same in every one of his movies. Did you notice that? In every movie, he was just like, what is it you want, Mary? You want the moon? Oh, just say a word and I'll throw a lash over it and pull it down. Yes, that's it. I'll give you the moon. Lisa, oh my God, there's someone out the window. Good evening, my name is Mr. Smith, and I go to Washington. I actually haven't seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, but the title has to be in the movie, okay? The point is, I can't do this. I finally stopped, and she goes, wow, Gregory, that was really good. You know, you might make it. I said, really? She said, no, you sound like an idiot. Guys, don't you hate it when you smack your girlfriend's butt, but then she turns around and you see it's not actually your girlfriend, it's your mom? I'm gonna do some impressions for you guys. This is my impression of R2-D2 waking up from a nightmare. My next impression is Adam Sandler being told that his film company wants to do a Billy Madison 2 movie, but Adam Sandler does not want to do it, and now they're begging him, and now Adam Sandler is getting annoyed. Okay, hold on. I feel like that was actually a lot of information, and I kind of ran it by kind of quickly, so I'm just going to say it really quick so you guys get it. This is my impression of Adam Sandler being told that his film company wants to do a Billy Madison 2 movie. Adam Sandler does not want to do it. They're begging him, and now Adam Sandler is getting annoyed. Shut up! And my final impression, I'm going to leave you guys with this one. You guys have been awesome, but this is my impression of Louis Armstrong as a bad weatherman. And I'm gonna have like an anchorman cue him. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news. I am your news anchor, David Smith, and we actually have some breaking news coming in today due with the weather, possible thunderstorm ahead of us. But you know what? Let's not have me discuss it. Let's have our weatherman, Louis Armstrong. Louis, what do you see in the weather today?
I see skies are blue, red roses too, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Guys, that's my time. Thank you very much.
All right, you guys, we're gonna bring up your next comedian. We got him because we needed some balance. So this guy is twice the size, tall ways of me. He's our tallest comedian tonight. He also produces and performs at the Bird Comedy Theatre in Kansas City. Please put your hands together for Mr. Cody Lindenberger.
I'm a good person. I am. I'm a good person. I can prove it, guys. I can prove I'm a good person. Every winter, whenever it snows, not only do I shovel my own driveway, I also shovel the driveways of the 2 oldest people in my neighborhood. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And then I go to the home of the 3rd oldest person, and I watch as they shovel their own driveway. And I say, maybe next year. Carol's not looking so hot, you know? No, I do that. My neighbor Virgil, he moved to Lawrence from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's in his 70s. He's had a heart attack. So the first time it snowed, I went over there. I shoveled his driveway for him, you know? He came out. He's like, you didn't have to do that. I said, I know. I'm a good person. He said, well, I got to get you something. What do you like to drink? I said, I'm a bourbon man. I come home the next day. There's a brown paper bag in my driveway. I open it up. There's a bottle of Maker's Mark there, which, if you're unaware, that's a very top shelf liquor. That's like a very nice gift. Yeah. And that kind of became our tradition, you know. Every time I shovel his driveway or rake his leaves, come home the next day, brown paper bag, bottle of Maker's Mark. This winter it snows. I go over, I shovel the driveway. I come home the next day, brown paper bag, I open it up. It's a bottle of Jim Beam. What the hell? Did I just get demoted? Guys, I was a lawyer for 12 years, and 5 years ago, the managing attorney called me into our office and told me that due to the economy, they were going to be reducing my salary by $20,000 per year. And this bourbon thing hurt worse than that, okay? You got to know your worth, guys. Yeah, I was a lawyer. Every time you tell someone you're a lawyer, they ask the same question. They always say, what kind of lawyer are you? which is kind of weird. You don't do that for every job, right? I don't think anyone's ever been like, oh, wow. Well, wait, what kind of garbage do you collect? It's like lawyers, doctors, jobs that have these niche areas. You can't just be a lawyer, you have to be a lawyer of something. You can't just be a doctor, you have to be a doctor of something, right? It wasn't always that way. 100 years ago in the 1920s, if you were a lawyer, you were just a lawyer, you did it all. If you were a doctor, you were just a doctor. 50 years before that, if you were a lawyer, you were just also a doctor. They were like, you can read? Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. Whenever you tell people you're a lawyer, they think that means you're smart. Nah. I know a lot of dumb lawyers, guys. There's hundreds of law schools in our country, and every year, every one of them has one person who's the dumbest person who still gets to be a lawyer, right? Yeah. I'm not a smart person. I've come to realize that. I'm a dumb person. Last year, I had to get my vehicle registration. I had to get my tags for my car. So I drove down to the office. I parked. I went in. I took a number. I waited in line for like 10 minutes. I get up to the front. I pay my money. I get my piece of paper with a little sticker on it. I go back out to the parking lot. I kneel down and wipe the dust off the old one, put the new sticker on there just right. And I go around to leave, but I couldn't, because this wasn't my car. I put my sticker on the wrong car. And I had to go back inside, take a number, wait in line for 10 minutes, and tell this man, hey, I put my sticker on the wrong car. Could I have another one? And he looked at me with a look that I think was trying to convey, I'm pretty sure you're screwing me here, but I can't figure out how. It looked like this, for about 3 minutes. And then he said, I have never heard of that happening, but I guess, yeah, I'll give you another sticker. And he did, and I left. I told my wife what happened. She said, well, did you at least wait and tell the person whose car it was what you had done? And I, of course, said no. I didn't want anyone else knowing about this. At the time, I thought I did them a favor. I gave them like 5 free months registration because, yes, I noticed it was the wrong month when I put the sticker on there, but I did it anyways. But then I looked it up, guys. I'm a lawyer. I can do that kind of thing. In Kansas, it is against the law to display the wrong sticker on your license plate. Yeah, which means that at some point, a police officer, a highway patrolman, a sheriff could have used that as pretext to pull that car over, check for warrants, search the vehicle. Somebody very well could be in prison right now because I was too dumb to put my sticker on the right car. And honestly, that's what kind of lawyer I am, guys. Thank you. I actually got some good news a couple weeks ago. My boss from that law firm, she called me up. She asked me if I would be interested in coming back part-time, just doing like some work from home as an independent contractor. I said, yeah, that sounds amazing. I'd love to do that. She said, well, compensation-wise, let me know what you think would be fair. And I said, I already have. And I'm afraid I can't do it for anything less than Maker's Mark. Guys, I'm Cody Lindenberger. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for our next comedian, Mr. John Harris.
I know what you guys are thinking when you look at me. You're saying, what the hell is Jason Momoa doing in Topeka, Kansas? Telling jokes when he should be filming like Aquaman 17 or whatever the hell sequel they're on. But I know it seems funny, but I do identify as being buff. Yeah, I consider myself trans hunk. So, my pronouns are sculpted. Nice abs. They're usually the only pronouns I go by. So, but like Vicky said, I was a police officer for a long time and retired, and you get kind of burned out doing that after a while. So just before my retirement, my partner's trying to get me through, going, a couple of more weeks, man, and you'll be out of here. You got some short-term memory stuff from all the stuff you've seen. Just, try and stay cool. I'm like, okay. So we're driving on day shift, which was rare for both of us, and a car goes by us near a school zone at 70 miles an hour. And we look at each other, and we both hated car stops and tickets, but we knew we had to pull this car over. So we went after, pulled it over. My partner looks at me, and he goes, just play this straight, man. I just want to get you to retirement, okay? I'm like, okay. Just don't do anything silly. Just play it straight. I'm like, all right. And we go up to the car. My partner looks over that top of that car at me, and he looks and he shakes his head, and he knows, crap, he's going to do it. And I tell the driver to wind down his window, and I go, excuse me, sir, could I see your license, registration, and insurance card, please? And you got to keep a straight face when you're looking at him and doing that. So now he has no idea. You know, the look on his face was priceless. Like, if this guy's messing with me, man, and I call him on it, he's going to be mad. And if this guy really talks like that, and I call him on it, he's really going to be mad. Either way, I'm in trouble. So he doesn't say anything. He hands me his stuff. We go back to the car, and my partner's like, you had to do it, didn't you? You had to do it. This ought to be interesting. Go ahead. I'm like, it's only going to be a minute, man. And I call it in, and of course, police officer's worst luck in the world. He's got a warrant for his arrest. Let that sink in, folks, because that means it ain't over yet. I got to go back to that car, give this guy his stuff, and try to remember what voice I used. Because that short-term thing's kicking in. And I looked at my partner, and he goes, nope, I'm not helping you. I told you you're on your own. And we get about halfway up to the car, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I got it. I know what voice it is. And I get up there, and I go, all right, lad, you got to step out of the vehicle. You've got to walk back to the trunk of the car, put your hands on the back. No, I don't think it's because I lock you, so don't get that idea in your head. You got a warrant. And we take him back to the car, and he's behind a plexiglass screen, and my partner whispers, I told you, man, I told you. And I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about. I thought I used the right voice the whole time, so I didn't know what he meant. We get back to the station. It's a short ride, like 10 minutes. We get a process and arrest report. My partner tells me, you got to do the arrest report, man, because you put us in this bind. I still don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm thinking we're okay. So we get in there, and I get ready to do the arrest report. And I look at the guy, and I realize I still got to do a voice, and I go, okay, man, any marks, tattoos? What's your date of birth, man? Is the license the same address? Is it real, man? And the guy just looks at me, and he goes to get up. And that's when my partner did step in and just went, look, man, you don't want to hurt him. He's a police officer. We're just trying to get him retirement. You could go to prison for hitting a police officer. It's a felony for a stupid traffic warrant. Don't do it. He goes, no, man, I don't want to do that. That's just the best impression of me I've ever heard, man. All right, I got to go. They said I'm due back on set for the next Aquaman scene. So. Thanks, Topeka. Have a great night. Thanks a lot, guys.
Mr. John Harris. Depending on how high you were when you got pulled over, that could make for a very fun arrest. I would have enjoyed that one. Our next comedian got started in a small town in western Kansas. Apparently the chickens think he's hysterically funny, so hopefully you guys will do a little cackling for him too. Please put your hands together for Randy Travis Young.
Thank you. So doing stand-up comedy is awkward. You just get up here, start a conversation with a room full of strangers, whose only appropriate response back is ha 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 ha. Yeah, if you don't get that ha ha back, it's more awkward standing up here. So then it's not a conversation, you're just talking to yourself. If you've never experienced this, imagine you're with a group of friends. You guys are hanging out, you're having fun, you're telling stories, so you start telling your favorite story. And right when you get to the good part of your favorite story, you take a look around and you realize nobody's paying attention to your story. You're just talking to yourself. Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you keep talking to yourself? Or do you stop telling your story? Maybe you let your voice fade out a little bit. Try telling that one again later. So doing comedy is awkward. You just get up here, start a... So I am from a small town out in western Kansas. The county I'm from is actually the least populated county in the entire state of Kansas for humans. There's about 1,000 humans out there. Pigs, on the other hand, we're on the top producers in the state. Over 50,000 pigs. So they outnumber us 50 to 1. So if you're wondering why I do not live there anymore, 1, the smell. 2, if those pigs rise up to take control, I don't know if I can take on my fair share of 50 pigs at one time. At least I'm assuming it'd have to be at one time, unless it's like a kung fu movie where 50 pigs circle around me and attack me one at a time while the rest of them make aggressive fighting moves in the background. I would pay to watch that movie. We have 7 Sharknadoes. Let's get 1 kung fu pig movie, please. Right? Yeah. This summer, Kansas is going kosher. You will not defeat me, pigs. When the bacon decides to fight back. Oink! This is one pork chop you don't want in your mouth. Starring Sylvester Stallone. Hey, Peppa Pig. And Babe, Pig in the City. Ah, Ram, you. This movie's apparently from the 90s, I don't know. Coming this June, Kansas has swine flu. And it's contagious. So I have a question for you. When God created the earth and he put animals and humans on earth together, do you think he fully expected all the relationships we'd have with those animals? Like some, sure, but he had to have been confused by a few, right? Like at the beginning of time, the angels looked down, like, God, they've made friends with the dogs and cats. God's like, yeah, those are gonna be pets. They'll be loyal, trusting companions for the humans, or they can have cats. The angels looked down again, say, God, now they're raising the cattle and sheep. God said, yeah, those are gonna be farm animals. They'll help the humans work and use their leather and wool for clothing. Oh, and their meat is delicious. The angels say, well, what about the pig's meat? God said, also delicious, but for fun, I told half the people they can't eat that meat. The angels look down again, say, well, God, now they're riding some of the bigger animals, like horses and even elephants. God's like, get a little confused now, you know? He's like, how in my basement did they get on the backs of those animals? That doesn't make sense. What else are they riding that they shouldn't be? The angels look down, they're like, well, if you look in Florida, God said, well, what's Florida? Oh, it's a mixture between a carnival and a hospice. But if you look at this place they call SeaWorld, they're actually riding a killer whale they named Shamu. God's like, those idiots. Oh my me, what are we going to do with them? You know what? I think we're just going to flood the entire earth. Yeah, if they want to ride the whales, let them ride the whales. Flood the earth. The angels are like, God, you promised you weren't going to do that again. It's like, here, right, you got me. But if they do anything dumber than that, I'm sending an asteroid. The angels look down. Do not tell him about Tiger King. All right, that's my time. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your night.
Brandy Travis Young, you guys. Our next comedian comes to us from back east, not Lawrence, Kansas City. Please put your hands together for Mr. Peter Irene.
First off, y'all know how a lot of people say professional wrestling is a fake sport? Well, I was a fake sports journalist. That's right. Writing the dirt sheets, you know, covering the grease boys, you know, writing the dirt sheets to cover the grease boys because they're so greasy. That was the job. It's one I had, apparently. Yeah, the interview, I'll never forget, they tossed me a real easy question. What would be your wrestling entrance? And I made that hard on myself. I was like, oh boy, that's a tough one, because you know I'm all about the theatrics, so you're making me choose between the guy in Japan who makes human furniture out of boys and the 76-year-old undead biker who takes 30 minutes to waddle his motorcycle to the ring like a toddler on a power wheel. All the while the Taco Bell gong's ringing. It's a tough decision. They were like, yeah, when can you start? But, you know, it's apparently a job you can have, and apparently that's also a job you can lose. Still, yeah. Because you know how people bet on football and real sports? Well, some are stupid enough to bet on pro wrestling, believe it or not. And they wanted me to cover the spread, you know? That's where I drew the line. I said, hey, I might be a fake sports writer, but at least I'm not a fake sports gambling addict. I'm showing up at the bookie at 8 a.m. like, oh yeah, give me them 3-to-1 odds on Bam Bam Bigelow, and I'll take the under on the Nasty Boys. That's where I drew the line. The other thing is I didn't want to talk to any of the wrestlers, you know, because you idolize them as a little kid, you know, you sleep on Macho Man, you sleep on your Slam Buddy, and now I'm just afraid to find out that they're, you know, huge racists or, you know, sexist, actual monsters. Or Scientologists, you know. Thankfully, though, they're mostly just your regular run-of-the-mill conspiracy theorists, you know? They'd have these press conferences, and me and my journalistic brethren would all be there with bated breath, and they'd, you know, let us know the real hard truths, like, well, you see, Mean Gene, what I believe, you dig, is that the Earth's not flat or round, you dig? It's a Frisbee. And on the underside of that there Frisbee, that's where the frost giants and the mole people are putting the gay fluoride in our drinking water. You dig? And that's why you should vote for me to be mayor of Bucksnort, Tennessee. Ooh, yeah. Sir. And one of them became mayor. That's right, Kane, the big red machine, the devil's favorite demon, mayor of Knoxville. And, you know, I mentioned The Undertaker earlier, but like any good politician, wrestlers need a manager. Do y'all remember their manager? That's right, I'm talking about Paul Bearer. He was the older, rotund gentleman who both looked and sounded like a ghost. You know, he carried a magical urn that controlled his large men. And he'd go, ladies and gentlemen, the Undertaker. So he died for real a few years back, and turns out he's also from my hometown, which I found out because I read it in the local paper, where they listed him both by his Christian name, Percy Pringle, and his wrestling name, as in, you know, Paul Bearer died today at age 76, and with that, they ran a picture of him in ghostly white makeup, holding up the magical urn, like, ladies and gentlemen, my obituary. So that's how I want to go out, and how I am going to go out tonight. Thanks. My name is Peter Irene.
Peter Irene, everybody. I am really excited about our next comedian. She is a friend of mine. We've been friends for a very long time, and I'm so excited. She just recently got started in stand-up comedy, but she's been a long-time performer. You've probably seen her around. This girl graduated from college when she was 17. Not that it has done her any good in her real life. So you might have seen her in some shows at Topeka Theatre. You might have been hit up for money from her. Please put your hands together for my very good friend, Jessica Hope.
She's not kidding. I do need your money. I work in nonprofit, and I'm my mother's caretaker. She's a Vietnam vet, so, you know, I opened up, in fact, speaking of my mom being a vet, I opened up my comedy notebook. It was a gift, and it was every time you say something funny, Jessica, I want you to write it down so that when you get nervous and you don't know what you're going to say, you can go to the notebook. So I was very nervous about tonight because cameras. And I thought, all right, comedy notebook, what have I said? And the first page was just covered in numbers to call to try to get access to care for my mom. So clearly, joke number 1 tonight is getting access to veterans health care. Thank you. Joke number 2 was that the Ark was the first sanctuary city. And joke number 3 was that I want to talk to the judge at the fiddle contest in Georgia because objectively, the Devil's solo was better. I don't know how that's still popular. The devil won, and Johnny's got some issues with his soul. I was also nervous because I've done comedy here at the beautiful historic Jayhawk Theatre before, but the last time comedy was a little easier because I was single, and dating is funny. At the time, I was dating a guy that I had nothing in common with. In fact, he was into some weird stuff, like camping. It's not a good fit. But then I met the love of my life, and we have a healthy, respectful relationship. We care about each other's goals and our feelings. We are on the same page. And listen to the audience. Nothing is funny about that. Nothing. Thanks. But fortunately, the relationship, oh, here's funny. Ready for this? You get brand new magnetic lashes, and they fall off. Can't write that. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna take off both. There we go. Always wanted to do drag. That's as close as it's gonna come. It is a shame women can't do drag. I mean, I've drag. I was born for drag, except not. So, but being in love did come with one funny thing, and that was teenagers. 5 of them. Oh, I love you so much. 5 teenagers, and I learned that teenagers have a universal language, and it is this sound. Could you help with the dishes? How was school today? Hey, how's guitar lessons going? Oh, they're going great. I want to get a capo, and I want to get a bass, and I need amplifiers, and I need to get an electric guitar. Well, have you learned how to play the acoustic you have? We told the oldest that he could take the car to go to the winter formal. And he was so excited that he could drive. He was calling all his buddies like, yeah, man, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. Hey, buddy, you need to pick up your date. I've decided I need to get a t-shirt that just says ... but what do I know? And I admit it. My version of them at that age would be disappointed in me too. Because I look back at the music that I really liked back then. And I'm about to date myself, and there were some young comics up here. But do you remember Wake Me Up Before You Go Go? Yes! No! Do not wake me up before you go go. I am asleep, and I am tired. Just call me Angel in the morning. Angel, call me nothing. I am asleep. Leave quietly. Usher, tell me, do you want to get freaky? No, I am tired and my knees hurt. I mean, even Sia, I want to swing from the chandelier. Lady, do you know what that would do to my back? Oh, do you know what I would say to myself? And even presents have gotten disappointing. I used to get cool stuff, sets of books. You get 8 books for Hanukkah, 8 pieces of candy for Hanukkah. You get to celebrate Hanukkah. Now my lovely, veteran, caring mother who I care for Hanukkah this year literally gave me a set of 8 pairs of panties, the ones that protect you when you spritz, when you laugh. And all the women in here know what I'm talking about, but that is what I'm getting for Hanukkah now? Say it with me, folks. Thank you so much, Topeka.
Okay, guys, I'm very excited for our next comedian. I started doing comedy, and if you saw the show, the last show that we taped, I started doing comedy with his dad about 3 years ago when we were 18, 20 years old. And now we are bringing up a second generation of comedians from the Davis family. Please put your hands together for Mr. Dominic Davis.
Oh, man. Yes, I am a second generation comedian. My dad was on the first show. He was the guy that got down on the ground and was talking about this looking like Aladdin's rug. Look, that's him, all right? I had my ACL replaced. I ain't getting down there, okay? He's 56. My ACL is 56. No. All right? But I am originally from Topeka, Kansas. I live in Kansas City. And I moved there originally with my wife. And now I'm moving back as a single person because I am going through a divorce. But it's not as bad as it sounds. One good thing that happened from it, I lost 65 pounds. Yes. I told her to take those clothes and give them to oh, bleep that one. I totally forgot it as I said it. I'm sorry, I apologize on that one. But with going through everything, I'm now back in the dating scene, and I found out today that there is something called Facebook dating. Why? I just got my account restricted from the memes that I post, and now all these women are gonna go look at my page and go, oh no. Oh no. He lives in Kansas City, but he's a Broncos fan? Oh, no, no. Yes, I am a Broncos fan, diehard Broncos fan. My first job in Kansas City was working for the Chiefs, though. I'm sorry. I know. I was a security guard for the Chiefs, so I'm sorry for the Chiefs fans, because I'm not protecting y'all. Look at me. Okay? If there's somebody about 6'4", 250 yelling at you, why am I going to get whipped for you? That don't make sense to me. But I got a lot of awesome opportunities. I got to go work for the Rolling Stones. Got to go do their concert. I had one job. They said, don't let people onto the field without a wristband. Cool, I got that. But Ed Sheeran was the opener, and I like Ed Sheeran. So instead of checking wristbands, I was singing and dancing. I'm in love with the shape of you. Look at him go. Got completely shoved to the side. Okay, some dude just went running. I was like, all right, I got to do my job. I chased after him. He turned around and hit me with the meanest punch I've ever taken in my life. But I am a Shawnee Heights alumni. We don't fight. Shawnee Heights has never made fighters. We make talkers. Okay? I will talk a good game. Come over here and I got you. I dare you to step over here. And as soon as you do, somebody mace him. Help me. Help me. But mace him from a distance. I got asthma. Me and him just start swinging. In my mind, this looks like Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. I got to see the security tape footage. It looked like two third graders in their very first fight. There was two grown men on Arrowhead Field just... He's so fast. There's actual police officers watching us do this. Not doing nothing. Laying on the floor laughing, making side bets, okay? They're like, hey, let me go ahead and get stone cold on that 3-1, and I also got that security guard getting knocked out in 30 seconds. I guarantee it. They finally came over. All they did was go, stop it. And the fight ended. The dude stopped swinging on me. I didn't know that's how easy it was to be a security guard. So I went over to him and I said, hey man, I don't really want to fill out paperwork on this. You guys got it, right? He said, yeah, of course, man. Just so you know though, he was on LSD. Whoa, come back. In your opinion, who won that fight for my pride? Because I can't lose a fight to somebody fighting me and 3 dragons. Like that's not a thing that I'm okay with. Oh, man. But before I get out of here, I like to leave on a couple short jokes. I don't like to leave on anything that's too long. The first short joke that I'd like to leave on was my marriage. The second short joke, I can make the joke now. The second short joke I'd like to leave on is my dad's marriage. Thank you guys so much.
We're going to bring up our next comedian. This guy has been with Top City Comedy, which is my little group. He's been with us since the beginning. He's a very funny man. Please put your hands together for Mr. Steve Mosher.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yep, I'm Steve Moser. I'm your 8th and final comedian. We drew numbers before the show. First, I thought I was number infinity. But then I turned the paper around and I said, oh, number 8. That makes way more sense, of course. So they gave us a bit of advice. They said, a lot of you comedians do stand-up comedy for bars, comedy clubs. So just a bit of advice. You're doing it for TV purposes. All you got to do, just pretend like you're doing comedy for 13-year-olds. So I said, oh, that's easy. I can do that. So my main question, I guess, is how did you guys get here this evening? Like, you don't know how to drive yet. That's kind of weird. Maybe there's a bunch of minivans and station wagons circling the block for an hour and 15 minutes. You know? And don't take this the wrong way, but you don't really look tough enough to be 501 students. Not trying to insult you or anything. You kind of look more like a Washburn Rural, Shawnee Heights, other area crowd, northern suburb area. I'm not going to say that word because, you know, we're doing TV comedy. Doing pretty good. I'm getting the hang of the TV comedy, right? One advantage, though, I have, I guess, at my age, you know, as comedians, you're supposed to talk about your own stories because it makes you relatable and genuine. It's easy to remember. Other comedians can't steal your jokes, everything. So that's just the way to go. But, you know, the younger comedians, they're in the prime of their lives. They can't really talk about dating on a TV show. But in my 50s now, it's kind of handy. Dating actually regresses back to PG-13. So I can talk about it. You guys probably, if you've seen TV, you've probably seen the commercials. People our age, we like to conclude a successful date by going out in the backyard and climbing into 2 bathtubs that are spaced about 3 feet apart from each other. And we hold hands that way. And just a very wholesome way to end the date. Don't lose a half hour's sleep. Just a better way all the way around. Way to go. And then also, you don't get much more relaxed. You know, don't get all worked up. Every once in a while, I'll slip back into my younger days. For instance, the other day I went over to my mom's house over the lunch hour. I have a work-from-home job, and so sometimes it gets kind of boring. So boring that you drive to your mom's house 2 miles away over the lunch hour, I guess. But so we were chatting, and this woman on television, and she's a beautiful woman, and she's like about my age, so it's age appropriate. And I was like, wow, that woman is beautiful. But then she got into bed with this like 75-year-old guy. And I was kind of overcome with, you know, jealousy, just temporarily. Like, oh, that's terrible. What is she doing? That guy's old enough to be with her dad. She should be with a guy her own age who watches daytime TV at his mom's house at 12:47 on a Tuesday afternoon, I guess. And then my brain snapped me, what are you doing, getting all worth it? It's a pretend TV character, you know? And then my brain said, you know, actually, this is called The Bold and the Beautiful. And then my brain said, wow, you're really good at remembering stupid, insignificant stuff. And then, so I told my mom, hey, you know, I didn't want to give credit to this silver fox guy for being beautiful. So I said, hey, that guy's pretty bold, huh, Mom? And she says, well, the TV show's called The Bold and the Beautiful. So I said, sounds like I nailed it. Yep. And then yep, exactly. And then she said, you know, I've told my friends my oldest son should be a Hollywood executive. I was like, oh, that's great. So, you know, basically being able to differentiate bold from beautiful, that's enough to, you know, can you imagine being in a job interview? Like, well, This is a pretty good resume for someone in telecommunications. However, you have no experience in entertainment whatsoever. It says your one skill is differentiating between bold and beautiful. Well, now hold on. I also can tell between the difference between young and restless. So that's pretty good, you know. And get this, the main character in The Young and the Restless is this elderly, peaceful fella. Try to make sense out of that, right? You can't do it. All right, that's my time. Thanks a lot, guys.